What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So I just finished watching episode 12 of Dragon Ball, season 1 of Dragon Ball. My reaction is under my YouTube memberships. If you are new here and you don't know what that is, it's a few little special perks for members only. I've got 2 levels of memberships over there. Level 1 is for $2.99. That's $2.99. And you get priority replies from me, special polls and live streams. And level 2 is for $4.99, and you get everything that level 1 has. Plus you get all of my reactions to all of the shows that I watch, any movies that I watch, and all of my uncut Try Not to Laughs. So go over there and check that out. It really helps me out. And I promise you guys, you will definitely enjoy my reactions. I've got tons of shows over there. I've got a couple of movies, I think. But I've got The Boys, She-Hulk, House of the Dragon, WandaVision, The Last of Us. I've got tons of other stuff I can't even remember over there. So definitely go over there and enjoy those. Now, in this episode, they are trying to stop Pilaf from making his wish because Pilaf got his hands on all of the Dragon Balls. And in the last episode, Puar and Oolong turned into bats, or they grew wings, and they tried to fly over to where he was. So he did resurrect the dragon. And in the midst of Pilaf making his wish, which of course was to ruin the world basically, Oolong got the courage to go and cut it all off, and he ended up overstepping his wish by wishing for the most comfortable underwear, and the dragon actually made his wish come true. I was like, are you joking right now? Like, this is what happens? Like, he makes a wish. Like, I thought that he was gonna go try to grab one of the Dragon Balls before he even made his wish. I don't know what that would have done, but it got a little further than that. So the dragon was already waiting and growing impatient with Pilaf. And here comes Oolong running, being courageous, and ends up wishing for the most comfortable pair of underwear in the world. And the dragon granted his wish. And here comes a pair of underwear flying from the sky. And Oolong was just in all his glory. It was on his head. He was like, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, this is what happened. So in the midst of all of that, Goku tried his Kamehameha again. Now, when he tried it, it only put a small hole in the wall. But he was like, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going. And he kept doing it until the hole in the wall got bigger and he blew the wall open. So by that time, the wish was already done by Oolong and everything just hit the fan. Now at this point, I have learned now what happens to the Dragon Balls. So apparently, a lot of you already know this, but of course I didn't know, that once you make this wish, the dragon now, it's like the Dragon Balls are in the sky now and they get flung all over the world once again. And you won't be able to find them for another year, or even if you did, you won't be able to make another wish for another year. So apparently they're scattered around somewhere, and at this point they look like big rocks. They don't even look like Dragon Balls now. You won't be able to find them or locate them until a year from now. So they're all sitting there like completely just distraught. At this point now, Pilaf is extremely upset because he was looking to rule the world, and they ended up intercepting that with Oolong's crazy wish. So now they're still on the run. Now Pilaf really wants to get them. Now Pilaf really wants to end them. So in the midst of them trying to escape Pilaf, they finally end up getting caught with him again. So at this point they get chased by a bunch of, well, first they're getting chased by Chu and what's her name? Mai. I think that's her name, Mai. So she's like shooting at him and he's running with her, and then he's like, don't worry, I'll call my patrol dogs. And they look like a whole bunch of scary canines. So they're all getting like chased by these canines. The whole time I'm sitting here wondering why Poir and Oolong haven't turned into something that has wings, because them two are trying to run away from the dogs that got sent after them. But then you've got the rest of the crew who is in the castle. I believe they're still in the castle trying to figure out a way out, or try to figure out. They ended up running back in somehow. So they're trying to find a way out. So now Goku uses his stick and he calls for it to extend. So they're like in this room and it has extended, but they're like, okay, well, how are we supposed to get out of here now that we're all the way up here? And they end up toppling over only to come across the dogs. Oh, but before all that, so when they were finally getting ready to run, Goku was sitting at the edge, too hungry to move. I'm like, how are you too hungry to run when somebody's shooting at you? So then Yamcha grabs him and he's like running. So they end up being face to face with a whole bunch of these dogs. So he throws Goku because he's just like in La La Land. He's too hungry to even know what the heck is going on. So Yamcha throws him to the dogs. In the midst of him being thrown, he sees one of them and pictures a chicken, like, you know, to eat. And he starts going nuts. Like, he starts tackling all the dogs. I don't know what that transition is, but he saw food, but I guess food kind of makes him not angry, but he will do anything to get some food. So he's just kind of like beating up all the dogs. And so finally, he still hasn't had any food. So long story short with that, they end up getting caught up. So now they are back in the castle, trapped in another room by Pilaf, right? Pilaf is now so upset. He puts him in a room where it's like steel walls, but the ceiling is made of glass, but it's like really hard glass. So Yamcha and Goku are trying to figure out a way to get out of there. He's trying to use his Kamehameha. Yamcha is trying to use his thing. Nothing's working, right? So they're like, man, and Goku tries to, like, you know, punch his way up or hit the glass with his head, and that didn't work. So now they're all sitting there just kind of like figuring out what they're gonna do, because according to Pilaf put all of them in a room where when the sun is up, it literally like burns everything in that room. So they're okay for now, but as soon as that sun comes up, they're done. So they got to figure out a way to get out of there before the sun comes up. So they're sitting there, they're all looking all somber and everything. Meanwhile, Goku, I don't know if he was sleeping or meditating, but he's looking over and then he sees Poir up at the glass, and Oolong looks at him. He's like, well, what are you doing up there? Aren't you worried about what's happening tomorrow? And Poir was just so like, it was a full moon, okay? So Poir was just so like in awe of the moon and how pretty it is and how soothing it is to look at, you know, in the midst of everything that's happening. And Goku proceeds to tell them that his grandfather told him never to look at a full moon because there's a really big monster that comes out when the full moon is out. And so he tells them, well, I'm not exactly sure what it looks like or anything like that, but, you know, he's like, the night that my grandfather got attacked, he said that he saw a big monster. I'm hoping that this isn't the case, that Goku accidentally killed his grandfather. I'm hoping that that's not the case. But this is a really big deal because I am starting to learn there is something to that tale that he has. So his grandfather told him never to look at a full moon. Never told him why, just told him never to look at it. So now the crew is starting to kind of look at him funny. They're all in a corner looking scared. Now with the way that they were shooting it, I'm like, okay, is he growing? Because, you know, Goku's really small in this season. So I'm like, does he grow when the full moon is out? What happens? So then he turns over and he looks at the moon and they all get scared. And he's just like, well, I don't know what the big deal is. And so they're like, oh, thank goodness, you know, you had us worried. And all of a sudden he starts going through these changes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope he is not the monster that his grandfather was warning him about. Goku turns into this humongous, scary looking wolf. And he, of course, bursts through the window, but he looks really mean and scary. And so I'm just like, I'm hoping that he doesn't hurt any of them. Is he going to run away? Is he the monster that attacked his grandfather? Is he the reason why his grandfather got it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have all these questions and I'm just like, oh my gosh. So now I'm starting to learn a few things. I learned a few things about the Dragon Balls and now I'm learning a little something about Goku. So I am definitely interested to see what happens next. How he transforms back and what's going to happen with the crew. How is that? Like, will he even remember that happened? Like, well, clearly, if it's happened to him before, he doesn't remember because he doesn't remember what it looks like. So it's happened before because his grandfather warned him about it. So I don't know, but this is starting to get really, really interesting. So I can't wait to see what happens in the next episode. But anyway, leave your comments down below. Let me know if you enjoyed my review, if you enjoyed this episode, if you watched it with me, or if you watched it a long time ago. Either way, let me know what you guys think. And if you haven't done so, please subscribe to my channel, hit like, share, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you guys can get notified whenever I pop up on your feed. I'll see you guys later. Toodles!